Welcome, everybody, to the Weekday Wagers. My name is Mark Wallace, and I am so glad that you were able to join us here on this Wednesday. We have so much to get into. We are finally, we got hockey. We're going to be breaking down the U.S. hockey game that's coming up tomorrow. We got some hockey being played today. We had hockey last night with the women's team, just absolutely dismantling the Canadian team. But before we get into all of that, because we're going to do things a little different today, we're going to rush right into our picks. That way, because we have a game coming up at 3:10 is the puck drop Eastern time. You'll have a chance to get those plays in. Plus, we have a very special Light the Lamp Olympic edition. I know you're going to like that. But let's take a look and see what happened yesterday. And, well, you know what? Not that bad. Marcus Smart, I guess, does what Marcus Smart does and got scratched before the game even started. And our Clippers, Houston Rockets first half over 101.5. I'm telling you right now, I was sweating my ass off last night as I'm watching this thing and watching all of these guys hoist up threes like it was like it was a pickup game, and they just didn't care. And I was starting to stress, but we finally cashed it. They got to 103, and we were able to get that done. But we can't do this alone. It's Wednesday, and it's normally Robbie's Radar, but instead we've got an Olympic version, kind of Robbie's Radar. Robbie, how you doing?
Mark, doing good. Yeah, I'm glad Marcus Smart was called out before the game started and didn't start the game and then get called out. So that was a smart decision by him and for me.
Yes.
The other guy I was going to pick was OG, Anunoby, whatever his name is. He didn't play either because, his toe hurt. So I told you yesterday he probably won't play. So I'm, glad the NBA, I don't have to bet that today. I got NHL. I have hockey. I can bet today.
There we go. We got hockey, and it was, what? First of all, I loved watching the U.S. women's hockey team yesterday afternoon. I think it was really good. And I'm hoping that the Canadian team isn't playing that rope-a-dope and kind of lulling them into a false sense of confidence for what should probably is going to be a precursor to the Olympic gold medal game between the U.S. team and the Canadian hockey team. It was good to have that. But I am telling you, when this morning or this afternoon, when the Slovakians took on the Finland team, to hear some familiar names, to hear the speed and to see the things that were going on, it felt kind of good again to have some of that hockey back.
Yeah, and a name I wish I didn't have to hear ever again is Useless Saros, because he absolutely did what he does for Nashville. He spots the other team 3 goals, and then usually he gets pulled, and we come back and win. But that didn't happen today for Finland. And I should have known. I didn't have any money lines on Finland. It was too outrageous of a price. But I should have known that Slovakia would get some goals after they announced that Useless was in net. And then just the fact that Mikko Rantanen didn't have as many minutes as he'd had in that game. I don't know what Finland's coach was doing, but now the Finns are in trouble, especially if they get beat by Sweden on Friday.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I want to ask you about that because for those of you who don't know, this hockey rink that they're playing on in Italy is actually 3 feet shorter than a NHL rink, and it's actually less wide than the international hockey rinks. So they're playing on a smaller surface. I had some thoughts on what I saw in today's men's game. Did you get a chance to watch that, and what were your thoughts there?
Yeah, I definitely had it set up on my phone as I was working. I watched quite a bit of it, actually. You just felt like Finland's going to finally wake up, especially on those power plays they had, and then they just never did. And then Slavkovsky went ham on those guys, man. I mean, just absolutely went off. And he's a guy that I looked at betting, but I didn't think he would do as well just because of the guys he was playing with. When he plays for Montreal, he's got guys like Suzuki and Caulfield, Lane Hudson. They all kind of intertwine on that power play. So I didn't think he would do as much, and I thought Finland would be much better. So that's on me for not having any Slavkovsky stocks. But, yeah, what a just beat down by Slovakia.
I think what stood out for me is a combination of the different sizing of the rink and the quality of the ice that these guys are skating with. Right now, it is extremely humid in Italy right now, and they are using all sorts of, drop cloths and screens and trying to do everything they can to keep the climate controlled in the arena. But it's not actually working as well as they had hoped it would. And what we're seeing is a lot of sluggish ice, puck not moving as smoothly or with as much speed. And the Slovakian team, was a very defensive focused team, ends up coming out on top against Finland, who, I mean, the offensive juggernauts that this Finland team has, it just didn't make any sense. And so I'm starting to think, well, with as much as everything got clustered in the offensive zones for teams, right? I mean, these hockey players are big men,
Yeah.
6'4", 6'5", and they're doing this on skates. Does that change how you look at these Olympic men's games as far as trying to handicap goal scoring and total? I know for me, for totals and sides.
Depends on the matchup. Like with Italy coming up, I don't think it's going to be a problem for Sweden. I think their spread is 5.5. I think they could easily get 7 or 8 on Italy. And if Italy gets 1, congrats to you. But when you look at a game like maybe Canada and US, if they play each other, I think that small ice does kind of play a factor because there's not as much room to operate. There's not as much room to do the things that those guys are good at doing. That's what I noticed a lot in this game. It was like they were playing on a kid's rink almost in a way. They were too big for the rink that they were on.
Right.
So I think when it comes to like 2 really competitive teams, I think it will slow the pace down quite a bit.
Yeah, I felt the same way. I was looking at this going, this is not going to be the offensive output that we saw like in Four Nations last year, where teams were just scoring and running up the scores. I think that when you have 2 teams like Finland and Slovakia, and I know that they got some garbage goals at the end, but I think the play, especially as the U.S. starts facing better competition, is definitely going to be the unders and more of a defensive mindset.
Yeah, after today, right, I think the quadrant, I guess that's what they call it, that the U.S. is in, I think that's a good spot for them. Like if you're looking for futures, like total goals, total team points, that kind of thing, I think the U.S. can put up a ton of goals, but it's once they get out of this preliminary rounds and get into the big games is when you'll start to really see it slow down the most.
Well, speaking of which, I do want to make sure that everybody has plenty of time to get these picks in because I know you have a pick for this afternoon's game. I have a pick on it as well. Let's just jump right into that. What do you want?
Oh, you're going to go straight to my play?
I'm going straight to your play, buddy.
Okay, there you go. I am on Mika Zibanejad to get an anytime goal at plus 170. This was a tough one. I like Mika, but I also like Adrian Kempe. But as I've said on this show before, Mika Zibanejad came through for me in a big way last year, scoring first in that game. I think he scores first in this game as well. It's a little lower for price at plus 1,200. But you're talking about a guy who scores first for the Rangers all the time. Sometimes he's the only guy that scores for the Rangers because the Rangers absolutely suck. So if you can get production out of a guy on that team, what can he do when he actually plays for his home country? I think these games mean more to him than playing for a crappy Rangers team. And I see him scoring a goal at plus 170. If you want a safer bet with the way Italy's going to probably get beat down today, you can take him for 2+ points at minus 118, but I'm going to stick with his anytime goal at plus 170.
I absolutely love it. And listen, I actually have 2 plays that I really like in this Italy game. The first one is I don't think Italy's going to score at all in this game, and you can get that at plus 130. So there's a little bonus play if you like it. But I am going to go and focus really on Philip Gustafsson because as I was just talking about earlier, when you look at the way that this hockey rink is set up, the way that they're struggling with keeping the humidity levels down so the ice doesn't get sluggish, this sets up for a defensive type situation. Well, guess what? The Italian hockey team does not have a single NHL player. In fact, they only have 1 player who has played in the American Hockey League, the minor leagues of the NHL, and that is today's goalie who plays for the Anaheim Ducks farm team, the San Diego Seagulls. Did a little research, and he is absolutely their best player. He will be in goal. I think that he is going to get peppered with shots. I don't think Italy is going to have enough time to get offensively going at all or any sort of momentum, which is why I'm taking Philip Gustafson to go under 18 and a half saves. I just don't think that the Italian squad is going to get off the shot volume here to get them over this line. They're going to be too busy trying to keep the Swedes off the scoreboard.
I like that look. There's another, I saw somebody posted on Next. I can't remember who, but I think they took Sweden to have 19 more goals than Italy. So if you look at, I think FanDuel had it, where if you go to the shots on goal market, you can probably take them at plus 18 and a half. I think it was plus 100 as well. So that might be a look as well.
Oh, interesting.
Kind of correlates with your play. I don't think Italy gets that many shots on goal.
Yeah, and especially, look, those, I'll say it again, those guys are some big guys. And with the smaller rink, the shot openings just aren't there. You don't get the spacing. And it's too easy to poke shots away and to get off target because things get rushed. They just don't have the time. It's going to take, I think, a game or two to get used to these conditions, these tighter conditions, for offenses to kind of start to get their rhythm. I think this first game out is going to be a disaster for Italy, and I'd like to thank them personally for offering them up as the sacrificial lambs. We do have, as part of our hockey plays, a very special light the lamp. Wait a minute, that's not how that goes. You got to be kidding me. Rob, I don't know what happened.
No clue, my friend.
How's that? There we
That's
go.
better.
Why did that? I hate this thing. I hate it. It drives me absolutely insane. Listen, so this is for this light the lamp, the Olympic version. See the rings there? Is for this afternoon's game. Philip Forsberg, William Nylander, Adrian Kempe, Joel Eriksson-Ek, and Mika Zibanejad. I guess I kind of already know who you're going with. I had no idea when you put that play in that as I was doing Light the Lamp for this afternoon that we were going to be picking the same guy.
You know what? I'll hedge it. I'll hedge it and go Adrian Kempe at +1. I like both of those guys. Kempe, it was really close trying to pick between Mika and Kempe, but Mika came through me during Four Nations, so I had to roll with the guy who actually came through for me. But I'll take Kempe.
I swear to you, this is so we are so on the same page on this because I was like, I put Mika on there because I'm like, guy's been a beast. And to your point, if the Rangers score, there's a 90% chance that Mika was involved with that somehow.
Yeah.
So I was going to pick Mika, and then I saw your play, and I'm like, well, damn, now I got to shift gears. Adrian Kempe. I know Kempe is going to be a beast. And then you went with Adrian Kempe. All right. Well, I'll tell you what. We did mention we're going to double stack a little Light the Lamp. So that's this afternoon's version. We have day hockey starting at 6:40 in the morning Eastern Standard Time tomorrow. I put together a little bonus Light the Lamp. And you'll notice that there's nobody from the American or Latvian teams simply because they don't go. That puck drops at 3:10, like today, right. The late game. We'll be able to have a very special Light the Lamp for them. But we got Nico Hershiser, Nathan McKinnon. Hershiser?
I'm sorry. No.
Or like Oral Hershiser, right?
No, not even close. No.
Pitcher? How do you say his name?
Heischer. Nico Heischer.
Yeah,
Nico Heischer.
Whatever. Now he's Oral Hershiser. So we're going to go Oral Hershiser for +105, Nathan McKinnon at +110, Timo Meyer at +125, Connor McDavid. I can't believe I misspelled that one. At +160, and David Pasternak at +195. Who do you like off this?
Well, do you want to go first since I overtook the last segment? Do you want to pick yours first in this one?
Yeah, I'm taking Connor McDavid. I don't think anytime you can get McDavid at plus money, because usually, if anything, he's in that +100, 105, maybe +110. At +160, my God, that's where the value is.
Yeah, I'm going to go David Pasternak, like Nate just said. I think you're almost getting +200 for a guy who scores on a regular basis in the NHL, and he's going to be the top guy on his team. Yeah, give me David Pasternak at +195.
Yeah, Nate said Pasta's auto at that value. I think I agree the same. And McDavid too. as far as I'm
Yeah.
concerned. And Kim says it's pastrami. We do have a question. Is Willie Stiles actually playing?
From what I've read, he is. They're keeping things pretty tight-lipped right now. As far as I know, Canada's not announcing their starting goalie till I think closer to puck drop tomorrow. So everything's really tight-lipped. But as far as I know, he is playing. It should put him on that top line with Kempe and Eriksson Ek, I believe.
Okay. And DG does want to point out, and I'm glad we got it because we have a little confirmation that Seabass is going to be on tomorrow's show breaking down the Traders episode. So make sure you're all caught up on the Traders.
Yeah,
sit down for
definitely.
that.
Definitely for this week.
That was some wild things have happened.
Mm-hmm.
Not going to give anything away, but yes, some wild things have happened. Let's get back to looking at this hockey a little bit. Well, let's switch gears. Let's talk NBA first because we have the NBA going on their All-Star break. And there is a slew of games on the schedule for tonight. There's a ton of NBA taking place tonight. How do you kind of approach, because we're in a weird time of year, right? I mean, we've got the NBA All-Star, the NHL, which normally has their All-Star game, is not going to have an All-Star game. They're going to have the Olympic break. There's no football. You know what I mean? So how do you kind of approach when you get into these lull portions of the year?
Well, one, volume goes way down because there's just not a ton out there right now. And then when you look at the NBA, I know it's a 14-game slate, but how many of these guys, like we were talking before the show, are actually going to suit up? And if they do suit up, what are their minutes going to look like? Because like the NHL, they got one foot out the door going to Cabo and the other foot going to the All-Star game. So it's really, really tricky. And especially with NBA, one, I don't follow it as much, but two, it seems like with the load management and all that, it seems like it's very much way harder to handicap. If you're looking at player props anyway, it feels 10 times harder to handicap NBA than NHL. NHL, you still got guys, you got familiarity, you got matchups that you can kind of bank on no matter what the situation is. NBA, I'm glad there's Olympic hockey because that would have been tough to find an NBA prop. Probably would have been an under, and the guy probably wouldn't have played.
I do think, to your point, it's difficult. And one of the things that we struggle with at justicestatsports.com is when we put out the play of the day, especially for the NBA, is you go with what the model identifies as your top play, and then you just hope and pray that those guys are going to see the court and that they're going to see the court with their kind of average minutes that they typically get. And it gets a little dicey. When does that change for you? Do you know what I mean? So when can you say, okay, listen, here's the point where guys should really start caring about the job that they're doing?
You would think as soon as the All-Star break's over. You've got teams that are clearly tanking, and then you've got teams that are clearly in the playoff push. You would think those teams in the playoff push would probably give more than the others. Hockey is a little different. You've got a lot of teams that are still actively involved in the playoff hunt. There's not that many that are just completely eliminated right now, even when they come back from break. So trade deadline's coming up too. I know the NBA trade deadline has already come and gone, but you're going to have the trade deadline in hockey soon. And I think even last year we were trying to figure out if teams were going to still go hard. And it seemed like they went hard during and after the trade deadline. It didn't seem like it really changed anything as far as hockey goes. NBA is one of those where you have to stay on top of it, and you have to just be in it. Like almost like how we are with the NFL season. You got to be ingrained in everything. You got to know every storyline, because if not, you're going to miss something. And then you're going to get a guy that's going to have his minutes reduced that night. That's why it's so tricky to me. Hockey, like for our play of the day, if you know a guy's 100% healthy, he's a wing, he's forward, somebody gets a point, you don't feel terrible about putting his prop out early in the morning. Say, here's the JTS play of the day. NBA, they could change 15 minutes before tip-off, and there you are. So it's very tricky.
Well, I saw where Preston gave out a college baseball future. He's taken UCLA plus 1,200 and Mississippi State plus 1,800. I do know that we will have a college baseball tab a college baseball platform on Just a Stat Sports rolling out for this season. So I'm excited about that. I know Preston's excited about that too. He's like, yeah, I'm looking for a place to put these plays. So that will be a feature here rolling out in the very near future. Simply because, well, listen, we got college baseball starting, MLB right around the corner. And then all of a sudden we get into a really busy time, right? Where we got NBA,
playoffs,
NHL, MLB, college baseball, March Madness, and WNBA right around the corner. So it really is. It does feel like we're in that feast or famine kind of modality right now.
Yeah. And then all that comes to an end and you just have baseball. Well, for me, I know you got some WNBA too, but it's really like then it's just baseball until we get ready for football season again.
And as Kim points out, next Friday is the first spring training game. So
tons of injuries right now too in the MLB. Seems like every day 2 more guys are going down. Jackson Holiday, Corbin Carroll, 2 guys that are out today. Schwellenbach's out for the Braves for a while. Lots and lots of injuries happening right now in the MLB.
Is it coincidence that I'm going to be in Florida at the same time?
Nice.
I don't know. Getting that arm loose. That's all I'm saying.
There you go.
Get that arm loose.
Yeah, more like that. Not like that.
What do you mean? I don't know what you're insinuating, my kind sir. Getting back to the U.S. hockey team here, for both the men and the women. I think the women are in a good position to absolutely win the gold medal. They kind of set the tone and really they punched Canada squarely in the mouth yesterday and said, this is our tournament. How do you think the men stack up against this international field?
It's going to be tricky. After watching the day, though, I don't feel as scared, I guess, of Canada, or I don't fear their offense as much because of how tight everything is. And I like our goaltending over Canada's. Logan Thompson has been good, but he's been shaky as of late for Washington. And you say the same thing about Connor Hellebuyck. He's a different goalie from the Vezina he won, a year or 2 ago. He hasn't been as good either, but Winnipeg hasn't been as good either. They're starting to show their age a little bit. So you got to get those 2 guys locked in. But I think defensively, that's where our strengths are going to lie. And after watching that first game, I would rather choose the team with the better defense over the team with the better offense right now.
Yeah, I agree. I think that this is, and one of the criticisms that you and I both had about this U.S. hockey team was that they didn't really attack offensively by their player selection. And I think that I'm hoping that criticism is misplaced. And it was the fact that I didn't see what the actual plan was or what the conditions were going to be like. And those hockey coaches get paid very well for doing what they do. And that's the research.
Yeah, but you can't sit there and honestly tell me Vincent Trocheck and JT Miller should be over there over Jason Robertson and Cole Caulfield. I know they probably got them for a certain way they want to play. When you're talking about just pure goal scorers, a line with Tage Thompson, Jason Robertson, and Cole Caulfield would be electric. And the fact that we're not going to get to see that still pisses me off.
And so Nate brings up the fact that Austin Matthews has to bring his captain's purse.
Better than he did in the Four Nations.
I have a love-hate relationship with Mr. Austin Matthews. I'll tell you why. Yes, he plays for the U.S. team. I am patriotic in the sense that I hope the U.S. team does very, very well. But at the end of the day, Austin Matthews is a Maple Leaf. And so there's always that part of me is like, nah, who cares? Just, you know what I mean? I can't help it. That's just kind of how I approach him.
I get it. It's sometimes hard to take the NHL and this away. Like I totally understand that. And you think of a guy like Matthews, you would almost just rather him be Canada's problem and not ours.
Right.
I'd rather him be on
We'll
there.
give you Austin Matthews.
Straight up, yeah. or Macklin Celebrini. We'll take the rookie over an established Matthews, but he didn't have a good Four Nations showing at all, and he was one of the reasons. You can't put it all on him, but that crappy pass that led to the overtime winner for Canada, it was his fault. It was a lackadaisical, lazy pass, and I still have images of that, and it still pisses me off.
See, and then they go, oh, well, he plays for. Oh, it makes sense. It all starts to just domino effect for me, and it's it's crazy. Listen, before we get out of here, I do know that I need something to watch tonight after all this hockey is over. I do have just a kind of a little bonus play for those that want to play along. And I am going with the Indiana Pacers plus 5.5 at minus 110. Yes, the Pacers are on a second night of a back-to-back. I get that. But last night, they beat a Knicks team in overtime, and quietly, they just outplayed the Knicks at every level, and the Knicks didn't have an answer for it. I think tonight, Indiana can stay competitive again. Why? Because they're taking on the Brooklyn Nets. That's right. It's a back-to-back, but they didn't have to switch hotels. They didn't have to leave the city. And Brooklyn is playing without Michael Porter Jr. Shout out Mizzou Tigers. He is not going to be playing tonight. And when Brooklyn doesn't have MPJ at the wheel guiding this offense, they struggle, and they struggle huge. I love Indiana keeping this close within 5.5, if not winning outright.
I have no NBA plays.
Yeah, nothing on the NBA.
No, not a thing.
Now, did you know Michael Porter Jr. used to play for the Mizzou Tigers?
That I actually did, because I think you have said that before on this show. And for some reason, I take his last name like a Porterhouse, and for whatever reason, I associate it with Missouri. Don't ask me why. It's how my stupid brain works.
Midwest, home of the steaks. I mean,
maybe that's it.
It is. As long as you know, yeah, because it's his brother who got caught up in a betting scandal. So there's that piece too. I think that's going to do it for us. Tomorrow we've got Trader Talk with you, DG, Seabass. It kills me that I don't get to talk traders, man. But anyway.
Should be an interesting Traders Talk tomorrow.
It's going to be very interesting. I will definitely be in the chat. I will be here for that. Anything else that you like either for tonight or possibly for tomorrow morning, a goal scorer for tomorrow outside of what was on Light the Lamp?
Oh gosh, yeah, Tage Thompson. He is a futures player that I like a lot for Team USA. I like Matt Boldy a lot for Team USA as well. I think if you're looking for futures, they may be closed now since they started, but I put it at Just the Stat Sports. Matt Boldy and Tage Thompson are two guys for Team USA that I think could really take over and do some things. Sam Reinhart for Team Canada is another one to watch out for. He was projected on the fourth line to start. He's already moved up to the second line with Nathan McKinnon, and I can't think of the other line mate, but he's going to be on that top power play unit. McDavid loves to dish it. McKinnon can do both, but Reinhart is the true goal scorer. When you look at the Florida Panthers, he does more scoring goals than assists. So Reinhart's another guy I would look at for a goal tomorrow. And I am going to be up early in the morning to hopefully work out and watch that game bright and early in the morning.
All right. I like it. So with that, listen, thank you all for joining us today. It has been so much fun. I know we get to get into, as Nate says, that power play unit is going to be insane for Canada. Ugh.
Can't make mistakes against that team. Cannot make stupid mistakes.
Joe, you can't find the saves prop. I'm glad I just saw this. You know what? It makes sense because I saw that on DraftKings, and I don't think DraftKings is in Las Vegas, if I remember correctly, him saying that. I will tell you this. I would take the Italian team total under 0.5 at plus 130, Joe. I love that play even more. I don't see Italy scoring in this game at all. I don't know that oh my God, they're playing Sweden. I don't know that Sweden is going to cover the 5.5 goals, but I don't think that Italy scores at all in this game. I just think that it's going to be too good. I would play that instead of the goalie saves. I would play that at plus 130.
Yep.
So I'm glad I looked at that.
Yeah, don't be scared of that. Don't be scared of that 0.5 under. This is David versus Goliath, but Goliath is going to win, and not only win, he's going to crush David.
It's David versus Goliath, and David forgot his sling.
Yeah, and the rock.
And the rock. So, with that, thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. Please hit that like button. If you haven't already subscribed, hit the subscribe button. We got a ton of stuff coming out. We will be back here tomorrow, 2:00 Eastern time, right here at Weekday Wagers to break down the Trader Talk. We will see you then.